Crunchyroll is in legal trouble again, and Chainsaw Man looks like it might be ending sooner than fans expected, and Sailor Moon is officially joining the Universal Fan Fest nights. Oh, and Nintendo is taking the US government to court. All of that and much, much more on this episode of Anime News Roundup. Crunchyroll is facing another lawsuit, and this time the issue is your privacy. The streaming platform is facing a new class action lawsuit in the US over allegations that it shared users' personal identifiable information, or PII, and private anime viewing data with a third-party marketing company called Braze without proper consent. According to the complaint, the platform allegedly used Braze's software development kit, or SDK, inside its mobile app to transmit information tied to users' viewing activity, along with identifiers like email addresses or device data. And because this is a lawsuit, I want to be careful with the wording here. At this time, these are allegations, not proven facts. This complaint cites the Video Piracy Protection Act, or VPPA, which is meant to protect people from having their viewing habits disclosed without permission. What makes this even bigger is that this is not the first time that Crunchyroll has faced a privacy controversy. In a separate VPPA case, the company agreed to a $16 million settlement in 2023, while denying wrongdoing. That's why the story matters. One of the largest anime platforms in the world is once again facing scrutiny over how it handles user data, and this recent complaint claims the alleged disclosures may have been happening since at least 2022. If this case moves forward, the court will decide whether Crunchyroll's practices actually violated the law. But either way, it raises a bigger question about trust, privacy, and how much streaming platforms really know about what we watch. My question to you is, when you hear headlines like this, does this change how you feel about using streaming platforms? Chainsaw Man fans just got a major update, and honestly, someone should probably check on Olympic champion Alyssa Liao right now. At the end of chapter 231 of Chainsaw Man, it was revealed that the last chapter would be released on March 24th. The manga's second part, which began in July 2022, looks like it's wrapping up much sooner than many fans expected. And there's no confirmation yet on whether another part could follow. The update became even more real when Viz Media confirmed that the Shonen Jump team has said that the manga is ending. Although, they also said they don't have any additional details yet. That lack of details is what's making the news feel a little surprising. Usually with major manga, we hear about a final arc months in advance, but this announcement came only one chapter before the finale. Chainsaw Man first debuted in 2018 and has grown to be one of the biggest modern manga with over 30 million copies in circulation, plus a hit anime adaptation and the Braze arc film that hit theaters last year. So now the big question is, what's next? Whether it's really the end of the story, or if Fujimoto could eventually return with another part in the future. Now, were you expecting Chainsaw Man to end this soon? Or did this feel like it came out of the blue? Anime fans heading to Universal Studios Hollywood might want to pay attention because Sailor Moon is officially joining the lineup for Fan Fest nights. Universal has announced the Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, The Miracle, Moon Palace Chapter Deluxe will debut at Universal Fan Fest nights this year. The experience is an original CG anime short film featuring Super Sailor Moon battling a mysterious enemy trying to steal the legendary silver crystal. I think it's important to note that this isn't completely new content. The original version first debuted at Universal Studios Japan's Cool Japan event, but this will be the first time a version of the show appears at the Universal Studios Hollywood with English subtitles. And honestly, I think it's pretty cool to see Sailor Moon included in this lineup. Universal has featured series like One Piece, JJK, and Chainsaw Man in past events, which of course are all huge franchises, but they're all very much shown in series. So it's quite refreshing to see a magical girl and a classic like Sailor Moon being represented too, especially considering how influential the series has been for decades. Now, going back to the Straw Hat crew, Universal is also expanding its One Piece presence this year. Instead of last year's Pirate Gathering meet and greet style experience, FanFest nights will feature One Piece Grand Pirate Show, a full live stunt and water spectacle at the Waterworld show venue with Luffy and the Straw Hat crew. And if you plan on attending FanFest nights this year, let me know in the comments below. Enjoying this anime news roundup so far? Make sure to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next big anime story. Alright, let's jump right back in. Samurai Champloo might be the next anime getting the live-action treatment, but this time the studio says they've learned from their past mistakes. Tomorrow Studios, the production company behind Netflix's live-action One Piece and the cancelled Cowboy Bebop adaptation, is developing a live-action version of Samurai Champloo. So far, the project is still in early development. It hasn't been taken to networks yet, and no streamer is attached to it at the moment. One of the biggest positives right now is that the original creator, Shinichirō Watanabe, is attached to the project. This is important to note because the current producers attached to this project acknowledged that Watanabe was less involved creatively on Cowboy Bebop's live-action adaptation. This time, they're clearly emphasizing having the creator involved from the start. Their pitch is to keep the core elements fans love, while updating the series for a contemporary TV audience. And they've said music will be central to the production, with plans to bring a major recording artist early to help establish the show's sound. Which of course is important, because Samurai Champloo is not just about an unlikely trio looking for the samurai who smells of sunflowers. The identity of the show is built around hip-hop culture, rhythm, and style. The same way that Cowboy Bebop drew from jazz, western noir influences. So, if this adaptation is going to work, it really has to lean into that identity and treat the music and cultural influence as part of the storytelling and not just background aesthetics. Another blueprint here might be the One Piece live-action approach. Keep the original creator involved and treat the original source material with respect, instead of trying to reinvent it. Right now, the project is still very early. But if it moves forward, it'll be interesting to see whether Tomorrow Studios can actually stick the landing this time. So, do you think Samurai Champloo could work as a live-action series? Or is this one of those series that would probably be best if it was left alone? Nintendo is taking the US government to court, and it all comes down to tariffs. Nintendo of America has filed a lawsuit in the U.S. Court of International Trade, seeking refunds for import tariffs it paid after a Supreme Court ruling in February found that many of those tariffs were actually not legally authorized. The company says the tariffs were unlawful and is now asking for the money back, with interest. The tariffs have already affected Nintendo's business. The company even delayed US and Canadian pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2 last year, while evaluating how the taxes might impact pricing. And of course, tariffs don't just affect companies, they often end up affecting customers through higher prices as well. So now, Nintendo is one of several companies trying to recover those payments after courts ruled the earlier trade measures exceeded the authority used to impose them. Now, if Nintendo successfully recovers those costs, the bigger question is whether it could affect pricing decisions going forward. And that's a wrap on this week's headlines. From Crunchyroll's lawsuit raising questions about user data, to the Sudden Chainsaw Man manga ending, Sailor Moon joining Universal Fan Fest, and Samurai Champloo's live-action adaptation in the works. If you enjoyed this anime news roundup, don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next episode. And tell me, which of these news stories stood out to you the most? Drop your answer in the comments and I will see you all next time. Bye!